how would you target today's training if you really wanted to win? If you really wanted to beat everybody, not just some people, not just be the best in your group, not just be the best maybe in Ireland. What if you wanted to win? What if you wanted to win these races? What if you wanted to be capable of racing these best guys in the world? How would you target the training then? All right, you guys, I hope and trust everybody's doing really well. It's been over 2 weeks now since London Marathon, which is crazy. That Olympic preparation, trying to make the Olympics, it's all over. And I came to Flagstaff, Arizona in my sort of running journey the last, maybe 4 or 5 years. Any time that maybe things weren't going the way I wanted to, or I wasn't racing as well as I'd want to, Flagstaff and altitude specifically almost became this like safe place for me to go to and just put in work. So I sort of had like a bit of a recovery period. I took probably the most amount of time off that I have in a long time. And if you remember, for the majority of the build up, I talked about like muscle cramps, tiredness, soreness. It's like I was in this battle between this is the training that must get done and this is how much my body can handle, right? And it was always this like tug of war almost of shit, but I know I need to do these big volume sessions, but I'm also looking at like my heart rate variability and it's really low. It's suggesting that I'm tired. I looked into in detail the average heart rate variability per week, per month before Dublin Marathon, where I raced really well, and it sat around 55 on average. Then I looked into, pre-London, and it was sitting around 45 on average. And so 10 lower is quite a big deal. Enough that when you're sort of complaining and when you're suggesting that there's tiredness and there's muscle soreness and that you're not feeling as great, you can sort of see it in those numbers of HRV. Now, I don't overanalyze stuff like that, because if you followed the whole journey to London, you'll realize I never spoke about it once. I kind of look at it on a daily basis, and it probably registers a little bit in the brain. But a bit of advice would be that if you're wearing a wearable like Whoop or Oura Ring or your watch or whatever, at the end of the week, I would jot that number down. And then I would try to keep an eye on, is it trending down or is it trending back up? And then if it's trending down, implement a strategy to get it to come back up. Start to have an idea of, during periods that you've raced well or when you've felt good, where's that HRV been sitting? Today's video is not about HRV. So I came to Flagstaff. I'm in this sort of like recovery phase now post-marathon, which involves easy running, little bit of gym. I did a little bit of a fartlek on Tuesday. So that was, I think I did 15 times 60, 60. I was going to go to the track and do a session, but I couldn't find the Jeep key. But in hindsight, it was probably better to just do the fartlek. Flagstaff is gorgeous. You can see some of these runs. You're on some of these runs and it's like, shit, take this in. This is beautiful. This is amazing, right? And I love that. So I came here, getting into that recovery period. Everything was going brilliantly. And then I got a really sore tooth. And the reason I'm telling you about the tooth is because I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed that I preach, go get a blood test, get your teeth checked. I preach these almost basic things that you should do in the sort of early stages of any important build-up. If you've entered a marathon, go get your bloody teeth checked, get some blood work done. You can do this online now, not the teeth thing, but you can do the blood stuff online. You just search for like a sports test. You can do it at home. The teeth thing, the whole reason I told you about HRV is it's likely that my HRV was probably sitting 10 lower than normal on average, which actually when your sort of heart rate variability sits around 40 to 50, it's almost 25%. And it's a lot lower when you're at altitude, and I didn't do altitude in the London build-up, so it should have been higher than the Dublin build-up, not lower. And it's very likely that when you have like a tooth infection, it can sit in the body for months. Like the lady that, you know, the dentist yesterday that was checking, and she basically suggested that when you feel pain, because I asked her after, I was like, could this have been going on for a while? And she said, when you feel pain, it's likely that that tooth infection has been occurring for, you know, could be 3-4 months. Why that's so important is when I talked about like sort of weakness and soreness after I did certain sessions that I've easily been capable of doing in the past, it can be that the body's fighting too many things, fighting the tooth infection, fighting the recovery from the training, trying to recover from Dublin Marathon. There's lots of things going on. We ask a lot of our bodies, stress, work, training, etc. You really need everything to be in a good place, and you need to help that as much as possible with your sleep, your recovery. But little things like a dental checkup, keeping on top of your hydration, super, super important. So it's frustrating because had I just got my bloody teeth checked at the, you know, end of last year or start of this year, maybe the day of London might have been a bit different. But I don't make excuses in this channel. It's kind of irrelevant. It's not kind of irrelevant, it's 100% irrelevant. But there's lessons learned, and that's the beauty of life. Where do we go from here, right? So the Olympics dream campaign, you know, it's over. But I sort of realized that what I've been doing in the past is I've been entering these big races, right? Or I've set these big goals. And that's kind of like bought me motivation. So I've always loved running. I love running a lot. It's been so good to me. I think if you're, you know, watching this channel, you've experienced how running can be really good for you. I've been able to travel the world, you know, Flagstaff, running these beautiful places, meet really cool people. I've always loved running. But motivation sometimes comes and goes, right? And I mean motivation to really try. My motivation right now couldn't be stronger. Guess why? Because I felt like a failure at London. Because I felt like I failed at London, it gave me this like, let's go. You know, let's show everybody. Let's show myself. Let's you know, get stuck in. Suddenly I'm napping in the afternoon. I'm not working as much. Suddenly I'm doing 80, 90-minute runs instead of 45, 50-minute runs. But that motivation will come and go. And I can't constantly rely on disappointing results to then give me a kick up the ass, to then go and, you know, push and race really well. So I almost decided that the next chapter in running, it needs to be that idea that running is your craft. That's what you do. And because that's what you do, and because that's part of your identity, and because that's who you are, you do it right. You don't take shortcuts. You don't rush things. And so it's about all the knowledge I have, bringing it to, you know, fruition or whatever you would call it, and applying it. I'm fed up knowing what I should do, but not being willing to do it. And here's the problem with the Olympics. I believed I could do it, 2:08:10. I still believe I can do it. But it didn't mean that I believed I was willing to do what it takes. And that's that next part. Knowing and believing that you can do something, well, that's step number one. And then step number two is saying, I'm willing and able to do what it's going to take. I'm going to put in the work. Not just the hard days. I'm going to do the recovery stuff. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to foam roll. I'm going to get the psychology in a really good place. And I'm going to take a step back from some of the stuff that's perhaps making me tired for the training. I've shown that I can do good things on YouTube. I've shown that I can, you know, create merchandise, create t-shirts. I'm trying to be too good at too many things. And I think to be really good at running or really good at one thing in life, it needs your focus. It needs your real, I want that. I really want to see how good I can be. And so when I've been on runs lately, or when I was doing my fartlek on Tuesday, I said, let's train in a way that you want to win, right? And it's going to make me smile because I feel like I've been doing the bare minimum, and I haven't had that mindset of how would you target today's training if you really wanted to win, if you really wanted to beat everybody, not just some people, not just be the best in your group, not just be the best maybe in Ireland. What if you wanted to win? What if you wanted to win these races? What if you wanted to be capable of racing these best guys in the world? How would you target the training then? Would you do your recovery stuff then, that foam rolling stuff? And it has to be like, almost like personal. It has to be that the people that you're racing, these events that you're competing in, it's not play, it's not fun, it's personal. When you get in that start line, these people that want to race you, they want to beat you. And so when you can do something about that is in that training build-up. And if in that training build-up, you take it seriously and you say to yourself, I'm going to train in a way that I can get the best out of myself because I want to see if I can win. I want to see versus these athletes on that start line. Yeah, can I beat them or are they going to beat me? And so it doesn't sort of change much, only that I hope my focus and that why I'm doing it comes down to because I can, right? This is the period of my life that I'm still physically, mentally, and all these things able. And I think there'll come a day that I'd look back and I did this sort of pretend, you're writing a letter to yourself. And what would that like elder version of yourself say? Would they be, delighted with the application that you made maybe to sport or to work or to family life, etc.? Or are they going to look back and say, you didn't make that Olympics. That was tough, but maybe you didn't do what it takes. Whether it was the dental checkup, whether it was the recovery stuff, whether it was too much work, it doesn't matter. But they're going to look back and say, yeah, but do you remember those next sort of 3-4 years? That was really impressive. You might not have got the big results you wanted. You might not have beat everybody, but you really tried. You really dedicated yourself. You really showed yourself that, yeah, you gave it everything you had. I'm really proud of you. Or do you look back at that moment and think, you could have done this better, you could have done that better. I know it's tough. I know all that. That's what's so important in life. When you go to bed at night, and the room goes dark, and your partner or your friends, your family, they're not there, or they're not in your own head. All that really matters is that you can live with yourself. That when you close your eyes and you lay there, that you think, that was a good day, you really applied yourself today. And some of the scenes in movies that kill me emotionally, I think it's The Last Samurai, and he has the stick or whatever, and he's fighting this samurai guy, and it's sort of play, but the samurai guy's taking it very seriously, and he's beating him down and beating him down, and no matter what happens, he gets his ass kicked, but he just keeps fighting to the point that everyone watching is like, wow, and that the reason that probably makes me a bit emotional is because that's all I want to be. I just want to be someone that, it's not that life beats me up. I'm so blessed. I have lovely things in life. I've people that support me, family, friends. My family have been incredible. My entire journey of supporting me. But I just like that sometimes you don't match your intentions. Sometimes you don't hit your goals. I joked with my mum the other day, of course, the first nap that I've had in 4 months comes after I try to make the bloody Olympics. I don't care that sometimes it takes me 3 goes to figure something out. I tried to make Rio, I didn't. And then I made Tokyo. I tried to make Paris, I didn't. and I'll probably sure as shit make LA. I like that I figure things out. I like that I'm not necessarily perfect the first time round, but I like that I don't give up. And so in these silly little movie scenes, I just see that's life. That's us trying to figure it out. That's us getting it wrong. That's us making mistakes. That's us not applying ourselves. And then next time we do. Next time we apply ourselves. Next time we get it right. And humans, followers, supporters, friends, family, nobody wanted perfect. Nobody wanted to see you nail it every time. They probably just loved that little party that went, I'll try again, you know? And I might set myself up to get hurt. And I might set myself up to fail. But fail just humbly. Fail trying to achieve something that you didn't think was possible. I'd much rather fail in that world than fail to try, you know? And so that's the goal. You know, I just want to keep trying to see if I can figure this thing out. Running would really piss you off. It's it's classic that I flew to Flagstaff, got back into the routine of training, and then got a sore tooth. That is running. Every single time you think you've got it figured out and you think you're moving in a good direction, it'll throw something in your path. But just don't give up. Just keep trying and keep moving forward. I hope you like that. The merchandise is all over the website, joggingclo.com. I've added some really nice new stuff there. And the message on all of the merchandise is just, keep trying. And that's all we can do. You can check out the running school at joggingroom.com. And thanks so much for following and supporting and just being really cool. I have to decide if I keep the tooth or if I get it pulled. It'll be the second tooth I've got pulled. But this one maybe I'll keep and I'll get the work done. But I think it's going to be expensive in America, but that's okay. There's worse things in life. So take care, be really nice to yourself. Stop giving yourself such a hard time, but focus on the things that need to be focused on. Do the work that, must be done. Take care.